Good evening. My name is Jack Dearborn. I am the chairman of the Ware Zoning Board of Adjustments. This is the December 7th, 2021 meeting, starting at 7:30 p.m. There are two cases for this evening. First one is case number 17-2021. Christine and Barrier, owner Andrew Volkman, applicant Pondview, tax map 408, lot 137, residential zone. Article 14, section 14.2, applicant seeking a variance for the construction of a 3,700 square foot duplex on Pondview Road. The second application is Dylan Bovier, owner, Jewett Road, tax map 410, lot 16, RA Conservation Zone, requesting a variance to Article 28, Sections 28.6 and 28.9. Applicant seeking a variance for the construction of a driveway to access the buildable part of the property. Access cannot be gained without relief to the wetland or buffer ordinance, wetland and buffer ordinance. Okay, let me just briefly go over how we will run the meeting tonight. What I will do is I will first of all announce the first case, then the second one after that. We'll take a case in its entirety, and what I will do is I will request a motion to approve the application. That basically is to allow us to have a reasonable understanding that it meets enough information to hold the meeting tonight. Should we find anywhere after we do that, open up the regular meeting. We will have a couple decisions to make. It could be to continue the case pending further information that we may want. Once we have approved the application as being fit for the meeting this evening, I will then ask the applicant to come forward. Before I do that, I will seat the board, and tonight the members on the board are here. Myself,
Mark Moretti, member.
Bobby Joe Plamondon, member.
Michael Meyer, member.
Malcolm Wright, member.
thank you. And I'll ask, when I ask the first applicant to come up, I'll ask the applicant to come up. All questions are through the chair. The purpose of that is that this is sort of like a court for land use, and that being the case, we did make sure we follow our procedure, and that most importantly, Naomi is able, our administrator, is able to take down all the information for the minutes, okay? Once the applicant's up there, I'll ask the board if they have any questions of the applicant before we start. Being none from the board, I'll ask the applicant to make a few opening remarks. Then after he or she has completed that, I will ask them to read the first question for the 5 points of hardship, which both of these tonight are variances. So read the question so everybody in the room that hasn't got a copy, and everybody at home who hasn't got a copy of the application, then read the actual question one answer they wish to offer testimony tonight. Anytime anybody who wishes to see any maps that we're looking at up here, who are interested in the case, we'll make sure we'll bring you up here if that's something you want. After we're done with question one, we'll go question 2, 3, 4, 5. Every time the applicant's done for a given question, I will ask him he or she to sit down, and I'll ask the audience if there's any approving abutters that wish to speak to the application. Once we've gone through all those people, I'll ask for any disapproving abutters wish to speak. And then I'll go and ask public at large, other boards. At that point, the applicant has an opportunity to speak again, to rebut anything they want, and then we ask one more time, approving abutters, disapproving abutters, public at large, other boards. So everybody gets 2 chances at it to speak. Once we're completed with that, I will close the public hearing on that particular case. Then the board will start deliberating the case. So in case of variances, I will ask for a motion Article 1, for prong 1, which is the first requirement. And usually we assign conditions that we think is reasonable, then we'll vote. We'll hear public discussion, and then we'll, board discussion, then we'll vote. Then we go to 5, 2, 3, 4, 5. In order to pass on a variance, each question has to have 3 yeses out of the 5 members here. If question 1 gets 3 people saying yes, and question 2 gets another person saying yes and another person saying no that voted yes, there's a possibility that there could be a mix of people voting on this different ways. What we want to make sure is that in order for this to pass, all 5 points of hardship have to get a majority votes for each vote. So it needs to be a minimum of 3. And if you get one that has less than 3 votes, 1 strike, you're out. Then there's a process that allows people to come back for a rehearing. Should they, anybody, whether it's an abutter or public at large or anybody, can ask for a rehearing. Based on the evidence presented to the board, we'll make a decision whether we grant it or not. If we do not grant it, there's an immediate path to Superior Court for anybody that feels they've been aggrieved by our decision. So with that, I think we're going to start with this one here, and the members seated are the members for the first case, and that is case 17-2021. We have a list of abutters. We have the 5 points of hardships filled out. And then we have, again, the abutters list. It's signed on the application. Looks like Andrew, you're gonna speak to this? Who's Andrew? I couldn't tell which one. I knew it had to have been one of you 2 guys, masked men. Okay. And we have a tax map. Do we have any information, before you come up, do we know when the subdivision was done?
I do not.
Is there any way to gain that information, Naomi?
Not tonight. I mean, this is a lot of record that's been there for a while.
Yeah.
On Pondview.
Okay,
It's on the town maintained portion, I believe.
correct.
Yes.
I'm not arguing that. Okay. Well, come forwards.
Move to accept.
Oh, pardon me. Motion to accept is made. Second. Thank you. Any discussion? Being none, all those in favor?
Aye.
So it's me, it's Mark, it's Bobby, and Mark, Mike. Okay. We had a month off, so we're all out of practice. At least a few of us have. Okay, you want to make a few remarks?
Good evening. My name is Andrew Volkman. I'm a partner with Volkman Custom Building and Design out of Goffstown, New Hampshire, and I'm here to represent Christine and Barrier for the project on Pondview Road.
Okay. Question 1? Prong 1, if you will.
Jack, should you know a little bit more why he's here?
Huh?
Should you know a little bit more why he's here for other people that are listening?
I was about to ask.
Because I know who he is, but what's he here for?
Well, for the application I read.
I know, but not everybody has it, that's all I'm
I
asking.
thought I read that.
Whatever you want to do.
You want to say something else before you start on question 1?
I guess I'm here for a variance in regards to Article 14.2 is the minimum lot size requirements, and that's based on soil type and slope. So the variance will not, excuse me, the variance will not be in contrary to the public interest because we believe the variance will not be in contrary to public interest because the property can easily accommodate the additional septic loading of the duplex within the soils. Although we do not meet the square footage requirements, we do meet the state's requirements for lot loading. The leach field is located in an area of Category 1 soil, which is classified as rapidly permeable soils formed in sands and gravels that provide the greatest amount of groundwater recharge. Soil-based lot sizing is based on the capabilities of the soil to assimilate nitrate loading from septic systems. The goal is to provide nitrate levels in groundwater at drinking water quality, and our calculations show that we can meet these standards. The required square footage for the lot, according to Table 1-1 of Article 14.2, would be 168,000 square feet. The lot is 141,134 square feet, which leaves the owner 26,866 square feet, roughly 16%, short of the required space.
Number 2?
Please describe how the spirit of the ordinance is observed. We believe that the intent of the ordinance is to regulate density in order to protect the soils. The site was designed to utilize the highly permeable area where the leach field is shown. The environmental engineer calculated that 0.33 acres will be needed to accommodate the design system, and there are 0.75 acres of contiguous Category 1 soils. We meet double the lot loading requirements per state rule, which is in concert with the spirit and intent of the ordinance. Please describe how substantial justice is done. Substantial justice will be done because the environmental load of the site will not exceed the soil's ability to properly dilute nitrates introduced by the septic systems. Because the soil is able to adequately absorb precipitation, we believe no harm will be done to the environment, the lot specified, or the general public. Please describe how the values of the surrounding properties are not diminished. The values of the surrounding properties will not be diminished as no additional surface water will be leaving the site, and the environmental load from the two-bedroom septic systems will not exceed the soil's ability to dilute the nitrates produced. Literal enforcement of the provisions of the ordinance would result in an unnecessary hardship. Please describe the special conditions of the property that distinguish it from other properties in the area. The portion of the property to be used for the structure and ISDS are located on a relatively flat and sandy area. The surrounding land is primarily highly sloped areas with large amounts of ledge and silty soils that are mostly classified as Category 3 to 5. Owing to the special conditions identified above, please indicate how no fair and substantial relationship exists between the general public purposes of the ordinance and the specific application of that provision to the property. We believe that the ordinance was created in a way that it could accommodate the vast differences between any given site in the town of Ware and provide a simplified scale of square footage per unit to determine its ability. By taking into account additional specific factors of our site, we were able to determine that our site soils are capable of handling the design load despite the town ordinance that bases this on square footage. Owing to the special conditions identified above, please indicate how the proposed use is a reasonable one. We believe that the proposed use to be reasonable because the proposed structure will only be a total of 4 bedrooms, which is 2 bedrooms per unit, which is relative to a single-family home, which would be permitted without variance on this lot. Although a single-family home could be built there, the cost of site development coupled with current construction costs would make this lot unbuildable for the current owner.
Just on that last one, I'm trying to figure this out. Is your intention of building a duplex to rent out half to pay for the land on
So
the site?
the backstory of the site and the owner, I am currently engaged to the owner's niece, and the future owner would be my sister. So the residence is being developed in a way that it would be for 2 current family members to
That is
utilize a
question-
piece of
question
property
is-
that's,
That's interesting, but wasn't relevant to my question. Let me try my question again. Why do you need to build a duplex when obviously a single family would be cheaper?
to utilize a lot that's been in the family. It's something that's been kind of saved for this generation, so they're hoping to help out a couple people rather than one. So that
Okay.
was the purpose of trying to build the duplex.
I got it.
So two separate families of the
Yep.
same family,
Yes.
one on each side.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. Okay, let's go around the room. It's pretty sparsely populated, let's find out. All those in favor of this application wish to speak? Anybody who is, butter who is not in favor wish to speak? Public at large or the boards? Being none, you wish to rebut or expand on anything you've given before I close down the meeting?
No, I think the only other thing would be is some pertinent information to the site specific, or the lot size based on square footage. The current average bathrooms in a single, or bedrooms in a single-family home is 3.6. So we're asking for 4 bedrooms, whereas typically a single-family home would be similar to that.
If I could, is there any distinction between a 4-bedroom septic system and a two-bedroom in this duplex? Would they
You're
be?
able to share the leach field. They use different tanks to separate that aspect and keep that separate.
But the shedding, the water shedding in the leach
Yes, the
field is
leach field,
identical?
yes.
Oh, that was my question, because I see 2 tanks here, but 1 leach field, so.
Yep.
Okay.
So whether it's a 4-bedroom, single family, or a two-bedroom duplex, it's the same septic system?
Correct.
Okay.
Any other questions? Okay, at this point, I'll ask one more time, so we're legally here. Approving abutters wish to speak? Disapproving abutters wish to speak? Public at large or the boards? Being none? At this point, I'm going to shut down the public meeting for this case 17-202-1. You can have a seat, please.
Thank you.
And okay. Prong 1, any conditions or any, could I have a motion first? Let's put it that way.
Move to accept prong 1.
Thank you. Second?
Second?
Thank you. Any conditions or any discussions?
Now, all I have to mention is the, looks like the numbers have been done nicely, and they're not that far off as far as requirements. So it doesn't scare me.
What the way table 14-1 was designed was, at the time I was as the vice chair of the group that were planning out the design. And I called the head, I think his name was Sid Pilgrim, head soils guy in New Hampshire. And I discussed with him what would be a reasonable lot size, and simply, I just took the table right out of the water supply and pollution control with DES. Square footages, and I added an acre.
Yeah.
So, the lot size is easily within the state's minimum requirement for 2 lots. And the only place we don't accommodate is the extra acre on the second lot, or extra piece of an acre on the second lot. So, as far as the public interest goes, I think it's served.
I would agree. Population density, all that stuff being addressed by the public interest, and the lot is easily big enough to accommodate 2 families. And there's no indication that there would be any fallout or issues from the septic system, so.
Agreed. Yep.
Okay, all those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Let's do it down so we got it. Myself, aye. Mark?
Aye.
Bobby?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Malcolm?
Aye.
Thank you. 5-0.
Move to accept prong 2.
Thank you.
I'll second.
Thank you. Any discussion?
Nothing further from me.
Well, I just want to say, as far as the spirit of the ordinance, it is a residential zone. We do allow, within a residential zone, duplexes.
Mhm.
So I think it's consistent,
Agreed.
Agreed.
okay? All those in favor? Mark?
Aye.
Bobby?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
Malcolm?
Aye.
And Jack, 5-0. Okay,
Move to accept prong 3.
thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion? Again, I'll say substantial justice done. I think it'll be a burden on the individuals. I think a lot, especially the soil type, the Colton soil is the best for building
Drainage.
a septic system
Yeah.
as far as the smallest size because of the rate which the water will filter. Technically, could be a gravel bank. That's what gravel is.
Right.
That's why people look at the soils map and buy a plan for gravel purposes. So I think the site is substantial justice in terms of the type of soil that's there.
Agreed.
Okay? All those in favor? Mark?
Aye.
Bobby?
Aye.
Mike?
Aye.
And Malcolm?
Aye.
5-0. Thank you. And 4?
Move to accept prong 4.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion?
It's a residential property, and, I mean, this definitely fits the nature, so I can't see how developing an empty lot into a residential lot would diminish the properties around.
Yeah, and it's, by the look of the plan here, it's a nice layout.
Well, even though the lot may be slightly less than what's required, the frontage is 680 feet.
Right, it's a nice layout.
It's on Class 6 still. Happens to be on a curve where the property frontage is.
Yep.
Okay? And I just don't think there's an issue where there's no immediate neighbor that's gonna be issue with a site issue with it. Or be immediately beside it. Okay? Anybody else? All those, Mike, Mark?
No, I just wanted to say, aye.
Thank you.
Aye.
Aye.
Mike, Mark,
Aye.
okay?
Move to accept 5 in its entirety.
Yes.
I'll second.
I think he explained his necessary hardship, his concern. And also, I think, special conditions, I think the issue on the, types of the soils and the length of the frontage, even though it's slightly lacking on the, total lot size, I think I think it would be a necessary hardship if we didn't pass this.
Yep.
Anybody else?
Agreed.
No, you agree, Malcolm? Thank you. Okay,
Aye in its entirety.
thank you, Mark. Bobby?
Aye.
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 And I in entirety as well. Very good. That's it.
Good luck.
All righty. We now have case 18-2021. And it's Dylan Bovier, Jewett Road. Before I ask for a motion to accept the application, we have the 5 points of hardship. We have signed application. We have a butters. We have the application front sheet. We have the list of conditions for filling it out. And tax, butters map. We have a septic, this looks like it's the impact of the wetland. Is that the green?
Yes.
It's a buffer. Yep.
Yeah, it's, the legend shows it.
Alrighty. Who wants to speak to this? Before we do that, Malcolm,
Yes, sir.
how about a motion to accept?
Move to accept application, what is it,
18.
18-2021.
Thank you. Second.
I'll second.
Any discussions on the application? I think it's pretty straightforward. The delineating an area for disturbing, to put in a driveway. 752 square feet impacted, is that what I see? Okay. All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Debbie?
Aye.
Aye.
5-0, okay? Mr. Bover, come on up. Tell us a little bit what you're doing.
What I do?
What you're doing.
What you do
Okay.
here?
Sorry, I was never good at presentations in school, so. Hi, everybody. My name is Dylan Bover. I'm here to ask for Article 28.6 and 28.9 to be waived, so we can construct a driveway to access the buildable part of our property. And access cannot be gained without relief to the wetland and buffer ordinance.
Hang on just a second. Okay, just so I get it straight, you're asking for relief based on what you have here on the plan?
Yes,
And the total disturbed area is 725, 752 or 32? 52,
52.
yeah, 52, yep.
okay. Any questions of the applicant? Without that, why don't you give us prong one, read the bolded question and
The variance will not be contrary to the public interest. The purpose of the ordinance is to avoid and/or minimize impact the wetland and wetland buffers in our town. The property has wetland along the entire frontage of the lot, restricting access to the building site. Access must be through the wetland and buffers on either side. A New Hampshire DES wetlands and non-site specific permit has been filed with the state for review and approval. The driveway has been placed at the narrowest portion of the wetland and therefore minimizes the necessary impacts to the wetland complex. The crossing is entirely on private property and the general public will not be impacted in any capacity to the proposed driveway.
number two, please.
Please describe how the spirit of the ordinance is observed. The spirit of the ordinance is observed by crossing the wetland at the narrowest part, limiting impacts to the wetland and the buffer on either side of the wetland. The proposed use therefore does not conflict the spirit and intent of the ordinance. The driveway is proposed for a single-family residence consistent with the neighborhood, and the project will not threaten public health, safety, or welfare.
Okay, number 3, please.
Please describe how substantial justice is done. Access to the building site must cross through wetland and the associated buffers at some location. The proposed location is the least impacting alternative. By granting the waiver, substantial justice to the applicant is achieved, as the lot would otherwise be unbuildable. The general public will not be harmed by this request, as the lot is a single-family residential property with building rights consistent with the abutters and surrounding properties.
4, please.
Please describe how the values of surrounding properties are not diminished. The proposed wetland and buffer impacts are entirely on private property owned by the applicant. The driveway is sinuous after the wetland crossing leading to the house location, so it will be difficult to see the proposed home, if at all, from Jewett Road. The driveway slopes through wetland, and buffer impacts will be stabilized by loaming and seeding. Proper erosion control are shown on the construction plans to reduce potential impacts to downgrading properties.
5, please.
Literal enforcement of the provisions of the ordinance would result in an unnecessary hardship. Literal enforcement of the ordinance would result in unnecessary hardship to the property owner, since the wetland complex cuts off the building location from Jewett Road. Denial of the variance request would render the property unbuildable. Wetlands bisecting the lot is a special and unique circumstance that triggers the request for a variance to access the building location.
I.
Due to special circumstances associated with this property, the general public all have rights to access their building locations if a property has similar wetlands issues. The New Hampshire DES Wetlands Bureau recognizes this through laws and rules, and they simply cannot deny access through wetlands as long as the request is necessary for productive use and impacts are minimized to the greatest extent possible. The state permit has been filed at the time of this application.
And double I, please.
As noted, the building location on this lot is inaccessible without relief to the wetlands and wetlands buffer ordinance. The proposed use is residential consistent with zoning, therefore the use and need is reasonable.
Thank you. Any questions of Mr. Bouvier? What I'll just observe here again, based on the document by Thomas E. Carr, number 42, that's his seal number. It shows just what he described. And the narrowest spot is where he's proposing the crossing. And I guess that's it. And again, it's the buffer impact, 752 square feet on Jewett Road.
Actually, I think, isn't that chart on your left the actual impact? Because there's two spots. Because there's 1,100 square feet on the back part, and 752 at the front. It's stated on,
Second one. Oh,
It's-
sorry.
it's
You are
stated on the
correct.
left-hand
Each
side.
side, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Got it. Glad you pointed it out, because it looked. So the impact was total would be 1862.
It says 1863 on his sheet. To the left-hand side, there's a legend. See it right here? Mine's black
Yeah.
and white.
Oh, right here,
Math is a
under the
little
green,
shaky.
it's a little small, but.
Well, we'll take the 1863. How's that? All right. Have a seat. And I'll go through the Anybody who's interested. Any butters wish to speak? Approving of butters wish to speak? Disapproving of butters wish to speak? Public at large, other boards. You welcome to say something else if you want to get up. If you don't, that's fine too. No, you don't have to if you don't want to.
Really, the only comment that I have, is that
You better come up then if you're gonna start talking.
Everybody at home wants to hear you.
we actually received our approval, if you'd like to see it, from, the state.
Sure, you got a copy?
Yep.
Put it as part of the case. That's quick. They usually don't operate that fast.
It's been a while. It took a few months to, actually get the permit, so this,
Signed this on 11/8.
Is that your only copy?
I have one more copy.
Let me just see if I can find that number.
The approval number is a file number.
No, it's fine, as long as it's keeping the one.
Meaning
I just know I got extras, so if you'd like
I don't
to
see the
it.
file number.
It should be by his name and there's a file
Oh,
number.
on the back?
Nope, in the address. Talks about a file number. 2021,
Non-site specific permit, 2021,
Oh,
03.
2021-03251. Got it.
See it?
Okay.
what was it, 05?
03251. Okay, and this is dated November 17th. Oh, that's his expiration date. November 17th, does that have to be the same day? 2021 is
Give
the
you 5
date.
years, right?
Huh?
They give you 5 years.
Yeah. 2026, yeah.
Anybody want to see this?
I did.
Okay. You guys want to see it? Okay, good.
You
Is
want
that
me
all
to-
you want to say?
Yes, sir.
Okay, well, have a seat.
I'll just throw it in the file when you're done with it.
You can have it.
Okay.
Um,
Thank you.
Okay, again, approving of butters, wish to speak, disapproving, public at large, other boards, being none. Want to close the meeting down? We'll proceed with voting on motion for article, prong one.
Move to accept, prong one.
Second?
Thank you. Discussion. It's an engineered drawing. It's been approved by the state. It's the minimum impact based on the left-hand drawing on the Meridian Land Services drawing. This is project number 11680.00. So that's the document. So I will add a condition for the purposes of approval that this be designed to this requirement here. On the Meridian Land Services, project number drawing 11680.00.
I will, so should we accept it as amended?
Yeah,
Yep.
if you want to do that.
One second.
You okay?
Second, yeah.
Yes. Okay, any other discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor?
Aye.
Mark? Bobby?
Aye.
Myself?
Aye.
Aye.
5-0.
Move to accept prong two.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
The wetland buffer restriction, I mean, it's definitely intended to protect the wetlands, but it's also intended to be, it's allowed to have variance put against it to develop a residential property, and this is the bare minimum impact, I think, that we can expect from something like this, so this is a good application of it.
Yeah, 29.3 acres And I don't know how many feet of frontage, 1,000 square feet or better, to pick a spot, and he picked the least impact.
Yeah, and with the state's approval already, so.
Absolutely. All those in favor, Mark?
Aye.
Bobby?
Aye.
Jack? Aye.
Aye.
Mike? And Malcolm?
Aye.
Move to accept 3.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion? Again, if this wasn't approved, it would be unbuildable lot. It's basically the entire lot. I don't think you can even get a house back far enough before you hit the wetland. You gotta be so many feet from the wetland, so there's no other place on this property other than the backland based on the run-through of this whole wetland swale.
Yep.
Any other discussion? Being none? All in favor, Mark?
Aye.
Bobby?
Aye.
Jack? Aye. Mike?
Aye.
Malcolm?
Aye.
4, please.
I move to accept 4.
I'll second.
Thank you. Again, he's building a compliant house. It has to cross the wetland to access or to utilize the property. And he's a long ways from neighbors. So I don't see this, I don't believe anybody's property will be diminished by this.
No.
Any other discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Bobby? Jack? Aye. Mike?
Aye.
Malcolm?
Aye.
And
Move to
5 in its
accept
entirety.
5 in its entirety.
Second.
Thank you. Again, on hardship, unnecessary hardship for the owner would be not utilizing the property as it's zoned for.
Yeah, and again, the state has given their approval. So I don't see a problem.
And the second, I, also, it's a reasonable use.
Agreed.
Thank you. Any other discussion? All those in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Bobby?
Aye.
Jack? Aye.
Aye.
Mike? Malcolm?
Aye.
5-0.
So it's gonna actually be approved with your first condition,
Yes. Well,
that the work be
As
designed,
amended.
drawing number.
it's really on the
11.
first one.
Yeah.
So since it passed, it has to stick. All right.
What's that?
Merry Christmas.
Good luck.
Yeah,
You bet.
Have a good rest of your night.
We got minutes to go. Okay. I read this through once. Malcolm, you were not here, correct?
Right.
I think
Sure,
that
I was
problem.
here.
Yeah.
We were questioning whether you were here before we walked in.
It's been a while. All running together.
I didn't see anything. Except for, it took me 4 times to pass English 101, so.
All those, and let's have a motion for accepting the minutes.
Move to accept October 5th, 2021 meeting minutes.
Second.
Thank you. Discussion? Being none? Those in favor? Mark?
Aye.
Bobby?
Aye.
Jack? Aye. Mike?
Aye.
Malcolm?
I'll abstain.
You're gonna abstain because you want here.
Oh.
But you still like it, though.
Move to adjourn.
Motion to adjourn.
Second that.
Discussion? Being none? All those in favor?
Aye.
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 Merry Christmas.